Clarissa, what is the complete title of it? Clarissa, or the history of a young lady, comprehending the most important concerns of private life, and particularly showing the distresses that may attend the misconduct both of parents and children in relation to marriage. इतना बड़ा टाइटल breathless टाइटल है ये. Hello, how are you? This is Heena from Team Vallath, and today's lecture under lines that made literature is from this novel. We're just gonna call it as Clarissa. Easy, why so much burden? So, which line are we gonna focus on? Do you know the line that made literature, line that still echoes? It is Death, my dearest friend, will soon relieve me from all my cares. This girl who is waiting patiently to die says this: Death, my dearest friend, will soon relieve me from all my cares. You're going to know everything about the story of Clarissa, how she held to her morals even till the end of her life. Yes? So let's start with today's video. First, a little bit about the intro. Novel is Clarissa, or the History of a Young Lady. It was published in 1748, written by Samuel Ruchardon, an English writer who lived from 1689 to 1761. The genre of Clarissa is it's an epistolary novel, which means the novel is based on letters. Clarissa is a girl who writes letters, who correspondences with her best friend, then her supposed lover, then her benefactor or a person who really cares about her. So it is basic, and she also writes letters to her family for forgiveness. So the letter is very important in the entire novel, which makes Clarissa an epistolary novel. And if I speak about the synopsis in like 4 lines, Clarissa, listen to me properly. Clarissa narrates the story of a young, virtuous woman named Clarissa Harlowe, whose pursuit of independence as well as moral integrity leads to her tragic conflict with her family, which is very ambitious, with a man named Robert Lovelace, who is a libertine, who is not a societal fit, who is a societal misfit. So basically, Richard Lovelace is a societal misfit. Clarissa is a virtuous woman, a morally dedicated woman. But how their paths bring them together, how it leads to only destruction of Clarissa and eventually Richard Lovelace, we will come to know. Okay? So let's start with the character list. You really need to know the character sketch of these famous characters from Clarissa. We start with the protagonist of the novel. Her name is Clarissa Harlowe. Who is she? Listen to me. The virtuous heroine of the novel, celebrated for her beauty and moral strength. She's trapped between her domineering family and a cunning man named Robert Lovelace. Clarissa becomes a victim of Lovelace's schemes. And in the course of the novel, Clarissa is physically tormented, physically assaulted. Yes, she is raped by Richard Lovelace. And it is at this time she feels that death, my dearest friend, will soon relieve me from all my cares. She calmly prepares for her end, which symbolizes virtue in adversity. So that is Clarissa Harlowe. Next is the villain of this novel, who is Robert Lovelace. Robert is a charming boy, yet a villainous character. He's a libertine who relentlessly pursues Clarissa more for his pride than for his love. He actually feels that how is Clarissa not giving herself to me? I want to put Clarissa's virtue on trial. I want to seduce her. He has no aim of marrying her. He only wants to bring her into his seduction. So for Lovelace, seducing Clarissa is not just desire, but a test of his power. He boasts to his friend Belford. Belford is a character who will be introduced later in the novel. Belford starts as a libertine like Robert Lovelace, but in the end, he becomes a very close friend to Clarissa. He starts admiring Clarissa. He becomes Clarissa's benefactor, etc., etc. Benefactor is not the right word. Basically, Clarissa hands over her will to Belford. Take it like this. Okay? So now you understood Clarissa Harlowe and Robert Lovelace. Let's move on to the other characters. Anna Hove. See, Anna Hove, from the start of the novel, is Clarissa's best friend, BFF, best friends forever. So, Clarissa and Anna are loyal friends to each other. Anna acts as Clarissa's confidant, okay, to whom Clarissa writes letters. That is how the epistolary nature of the novel will enter, right? So Clarissa frequently writes to Anna, and Anna is her moral support throughout the novel. Through her letters, Anna fiercely defends Clarissa. She even warns her against Lovelace's deceit. And the last major character will be John Belford, introduced later in the novel. Belford is Lovelace's friend and confidant. They both will correspond at the end of the novel through letters. He begins as a fellow rake, as I told you, but gradually he becomes Clarissa's protector. And listen to the lines that John Belford tells Robert Lovelace in anger. Listen. If the divine Clarissa bids me slit thy throat, I shall do it in an instant, Robert. Which means if Clarissa tells me to kill you, I will, without thinking twice. Showcasing Belford's transformation. So he's like a round character in the novel. He changes his characteristics from a libertine to a very morally uprighteous man. ठीक है, these four abhi और characters will come. I will bring them as the novel moves on. Summary. Robert Lovelace is a wealthy libertine. Look at him and those fiercely sharp eyes. A wealthy libertine and rich, heir to a vast fortune. He enters the household of Harlow. So there is Arabella Harlow. Then they have their brother, James, and then there is Clarissa. So Robert Lovelace first courts Arabella Harlow, but there is some problem in their romance. As Robert's nature is, he tries seducing the other sister, the younger sister Clarissa. Arabella gets very jealous and angry. Arabella accuses Clarissa that you're trying to seduce Robert Lovelace. And Clarissa is like, no, sister, no, I don't have anything to do with Robert Lovelace. Robert Lovelace is yours. But Arabella is now very angry and she gives up on Robert Lovelace. So now Robert tries to woo Clarissa. Here you should know about the Harlowe's family. That is Clarissa Harlow, Arabella Harlow, James Harlow. Harlows are an ambitious family generation. They are very hungry for social power. They are rich, they have money, but they don't have fame in the society or a standing in the society. So Harlows, all of them, even the father of Clarissa, they resent Clarissa. Why? Why do they hate Clarissa so much? Clarissa is a Harlow. So why should her family dislike her? There are many reasons. First, Clarissa is very beautiful. Second, Clarissa is very virtuous. And third, Clarissa alone has inherited land from her grandfather. Pesa, beauty, morality, right? So their resentment intensifies. Basically, Harlows now tell Clarissa that you have to marry this man called as Roger Soames. Roger Soames. Clarissa says, no, I don't like Roger Soames. She then writes a letter to Anna telling her dislike for Roger Soames. And also look at how Clarissa says, I cannot like Mr. Soames. My heart recoils against him. I cannot like him. So now the Harlows are very strongly in that misconception that since Clarissa will not marry Roger, it means she loves Lovelace, Robert Lovelace. Okay? Now, what does the family do? The family ties Clarissa in a room, not literally tying, as in they lock Clarissa in a room and stop her correspondence with the outside world. They literally don't let her go out. Okay? And as a consequence, I've written here, her family locks Clarissa up, cuts off her ties from Anna Hove, who's her closest friend. But now she starts a clandestine correspondence with Robert Lovelace. Yes. Lovelace sees Clarissa's resistance as a challenge. Basically, Lovelace tells Clarissa, in a letter that you should elope from your family. Since they don't care about you, come, run away with me. Clarissa says, no, I can't do it. But now Robert takes it as a challenge. He tells his friend Balford that I want to put Clarissa's virtue to trial. I want to test her. Will she give up her body to me? Will she give up her morality to me? He wants to do it. So now, he boasts, Lovelace boasts of his intent to conquer her moral fortitude. Desperate for escape from a forced marriage, because Clarissa does not want to marry this man, Mr. Soames, Clarissa reluctantly at last agrees to elope. But let me tell you, she again changes her mind. She says, no, I can't do it. But now it's very late. Now, literally, Lovelace uses trickery and fear to carry her away in his carriage. And Clarissa then, when she's in the carriage, tells Richard, I'm so sorry. I've written Richard here everywhere. He's not Richard, he's Robert. Can you please correct me? It's Robert Lovelace, Robert Lovelace, Robert Lovelace. तो अभी जहां जहां Richard लिखा है ना, just cancel it and write Robert Lovelace. ठीक है? So now Clarissa elopes with Robert Lovelace. You'll remember. Clarissa pleads to Robert that set me at liberty, deliver me to your relations, which means don't take me with you, an alone girl with an alone boy. Send me to your relatives. I'll be open and free with them. I'll be more secure with them. But Lovelace says, no, I'm going to take you to a better place. And where does Lovelace take Clarissa? To a brothel. To a brothel. He's a frequent at this brothel. All the girls know him. All the girls start playing games with Clarissa because of him. They try to dress in a very eloquent and ladylike manner just to show that they belong to, a very high caste society, and Clarissa is in good hands. But ultimately, nothing of it actually works out. Clarissa tries to run away. At one time, she runs away. She goes to Hampstead. But then Robert finds where she is. Robert finds Clarissa's whereabouts, and Robert returns her back. Robert takes her to various lodgings, and ultimately, after months of psychological torment, after months of trapping Clarissa is trapped now. One day, Lovelace drugs Clarissa and rapes her. After this, she goes mad. Clarissa writes out in a letter, oh, my cruel, cruel fate, to what am I reserved? Clarissa becomes mad temporarily. She says, just deliver me to an asylum. I want to die in peace. She starts writing these incoherent, mad letters, they are called, which is depicted by scattered typography in her letters. She collapses. She refuses to eat, drink. And now Robert, tells all this to his favorite friend, Belford. Belford, who initially was with Robert, now takes Clarissa's side. Belford now sees the correct side of Clarissa. Lovelace is like, have I done something wrong? This time, he genuinely tells her that, come, let's get married. And Clarissa says, no, you have taken my body does not mean you can take my soul. I will not marry you. Clarissa tells Robert, I will never be yours, sir. Not by compulsion, nor yet by choice. And can you imagine the heights of desperation that Robert has? Robert thinks to himself, Robert says that last time when Clarissa gave her body to me, she was under drugs. This time she should do it willingly. I want her body again, but willingly. That's how niche in Hindi you can say. That's how bad Robert is. Clarissa escapes, she finds a refuge, her health declines. Belford helps her escaping and staying with a reputable family. And during this time, she tries to be calm. She forgives her enemies. She writes a letter to her father. Her father had cursed her that you will have the worst of life in the next world also. You will never be happy, not in this world, not in next world. So she writes a letter to her father for forgiveness, and her father forgives her. Okay? And finally, Clarissa prepares for her death with calm dignity. And it is at this time that she will write, death, my dearest friend, will soon relieve me from all my cares. This is the line I started today's lecture with, right? Surrounded by strangers, Clarissa dies serenely. She says, "Please do not medically examine my body," because she's very scared that she might have got pregnant with Robert's child. Okay, so her last wish is that do not medically examine me. She dies, she entrusts her soul to heaven, she entrusts her will to Belford, but this is not the end. In the end, Robert Lovelace dies too. How? See, here is this cousin of Clarissa who hears what all happened to Clarissa. He invites Lovelace to a duel. Duel is like a fight. And Lovelace says, "Oh, yes, why not?" In this duel with Clarissa's cousin, the name of the cousin is Morden, I think. Colonel Morden. Yes, Colonel Morden. Just confirm it. Lovelace dies to his wounds. And the last and the final words of Robert Lovelace are, "Let this expiate." Expiate is like atonement, trying to finally feeling guilty for your sins. He says, "Let this expiate," and he's killed. And during this time, the Harlows also realize that their, sister, their daughter Clarissa is no more. They think that yes, they were at mistake, but it is very late. And Clarissa's story, which is preserved by Belford, becomes a moral warning against tyranny, pride, and libertinism. We're done. Here are a few more quotes that I got from the internet. But of course, the most important will be this: "Death, my dearest friend, will soon relieve me from all my cares." And we're done with Lines That Made Literature today. The novel discussed was Clarissa. I hope you liked it. Of course, you will like it, share it with your friends and relatives. Subscribe to our channel if you still haven't. We are Vallath by Dr. Kalyani Vallath. I'm Heena from Team Vallath. Take very good care of yourself. Bye-bye.